Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a really cool Kellogg telephone. This is a model F740S, and this is Patrick's telephone from Philadelphia. And this is a very rare telephone, basically. Whether this telephone has been put out by the factory with a rotary dial, or if it was brought back into the factory and refurbished and then the dial added later, it was done professionally. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the value of the telephone, and so it wouldn't affect anything like that. And this is the initial checkout of this telephone. It's very clean and in very good condition. Even the receiver capsule cloth cord is original. And so everything is in very good condition on this telephone. Now, I did notice one thing on the telephone. The bells would be at the top, and I'll show you them, and then the dials at the bottom. The Kellogg, and whether they meant to do this or not, the Kellogg logo is off to the side. They may have done that on purpose, and I really kind of hate to change that because that was the position that they had it in when we received it. The dial is what is referred to as a Mercedes dial, just because of the simple fact of the way it's shaped and the design of it. Patrick has a spit cup, and that's in good condition, looks to be original. Then we have our handset, our receiver capsule, and then the dial is here. Now I'm going to take the dial out. This is the initial checkout, and I do have it loose. Now Patrick told me, I want to turn it over, he told me that he had tried to get this telephone to work, and all he could ever get out of it was receive. Well, one issue is there is a wire missing off our contact set here in the rotary. So if he would have gotten it to work, the dial would have never worked because it's actually missing a wire. And so somebody has at some time been into the telephone. I want to kind of set this back in there because I want to give you a look at the bells on top. And then I want to go ahead and open up the telephone for you. We have some things apart because this is the initial checkout. Now I have the coil and the connection block loose because we're going to be working on this telephone and we need all that loose. Now another issue was there's wires that have been cut to rewire this telephone the way we want it wired so that it'll work the way we want it to work. I also need to install a modular port so Patrick can walk up to this telephone and bring a cord through a hole that's in the back here, a line cord, any length, any color, and he can simply just plug it into the modular port and it'll be like plug and play. Now he wants to try to save the original transmitter and the original receiver, and we're going to do that as long as there's enough quality there for talking and receiving. And we'll get to that point as soon as we start our rewiring and get into the telephone a little more and troubleshooting. We also have to create a circuit for the solenoid for the bells so that when he gets a call, the bells will ring on a modern day situation. And so there's going to be quite a bit of work, but this telephone is in just really great shape. I mean, it's just in perfect shape, really, and it's in very good condition. So we're going to get a start on this, and we'll get some more video of this as we move along. We need to add a wire to our rotary, and we need to get everything wired the way we want it wired. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we're going to kind of show a little bit about what's going on. We've had a chance to kind of go through the telephone, and earlier we noticed that we had some wires that were cut here, and I was assuming at first glance that they would go over to a magneto or to a battery or a magneto battery situation. And upon closer inspection, I found that they go to the hook switch. So there's some things missing off the hook switch here. They've cut some wires. But basically, that's not a big issue. If Patrick would have connected up this telephone and got some responses out of it, he would have never gotten the dial to work. The dial is missing one of the lines, one of the wires that go to it, and it would have never dialed out in that situation. And what you see is a lot of jumper wires because we're in the process of troubleshooting and wiring this telephone up the way we want it wired. And so basically I'm going to show you a little bit here. I want to go ahead and close this door, and I want to go ahead and plug the telephone in. I want to give you some dial tone. And then I want to go ahead and dial. So if you watch the analyzer here, you'll watch some of the numbers go by as we're dialing them. And I'm going to end in a 2. So now that we know that the dial is working and our receive is working, I can tap on the transmitter, and if you watch that red light on the analyzer, that's an indication of modulation. So we know we have transmit and receive and it's dialing out. I actually talked to Pat and called him on this telephone. And so now we need to start squaring away some of the issues that we have with the wiring, and then we need to work on the bell circuit. I know the bell works. I've been through it, worked on the bell a little bit, the solenoid, and we need to create a circuit so that that will work also. So when you get a call. So we're just kind of going to be working towards finishing up this telephone, and then we'll get some more video of it and do a final checkout on it. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we are finished up with a repair and conversion of this telephone. And so what we want to do here is open the door, and we have a modular port installed. So all Patrick has to do is simply bring a line cord through, any length, any color, and plug it right in. And it makes for a nice, clean, plug-and-play connection. So we went ahead and went through this telephone, and if you remember earlier in the video, we had a wire that was totally missing from the rotary. That's been replaced. The rotary's been gone through. We rewired this telephone the way we needed it wired. We also stabilized his microphone wires, his transmitter, and went through the hook switch, the solenoid, got the bells adjusted the way they needed to be, and kind of went through a little bit of everything. Also built the bell circuit so that it would ring on an incoming call. So a lot went on with this telephone. We were able to save the original transmitter and receiver. Now we've talked to Patrick on this telephone, and the quality of this telephone is from the age of this telephone. But it does work, and we were able to carry on a conversation, and he likes that fact that they were savable, and they can always be replaced down in the future, but right now they are just fine, and he's happy with them. Now, we're not going to move. The Kellogg logo should be on the top, but it's on the side, and I'm not sure how it got that way. It could have been from the factory, could have been when it was factory refurbished if it was. Somebody may have turned it, but I'm going to leave it alone. If you know anything about these transmitters, the diaphragm style, you want to leave them alone. They're very finicky, and the telephone is working at this point on the transmit, so I don't want to disturb anything, and it's not going to hurt anything. It could always be moved. It probably wouldn't hurt it, but I just don't want to disturb it at this point. And it was like that when it came in, so it should be fine. Well, what we want to do now is go ahead and ring this telephone and do our final checks. Has a very nice ring to it. I'm going to let it go a couple more times. I'll let it go one more time and I'll answer it. Give you some dial tone. Now what we want to do is we want to dial our numbers out. If you watch the analyzer, you'll watch the numbers rack off. I want to end in a 2. And I just want to tap on a transmitter. If you see that red light, that's an indication of 100% modulation on transmit. So basically, by tapping on that, you can see the red light that it is transmitting. And like I said earlier, we did hold a conversation with Patrick on this telephone, so it does work. Anyway, what we can do now is I'll go ahead and hang up the telephone. When I push this button on the switch box, that gives us a line out. And so that totally takes the analyzer out of the situation, and we can call a time and temp number. Now, there is a problem with their equipment. What you're going to hear, unless they got it repaired already, is when I call the time and temp number, the recording's going to start, and you're going to hear a real bad hum. And then the recording starts up again, and there might be another hum involved in it. But that's their equipment. They're having problems with it. It has nothing to do with us on our end. So I'll go ahead and give you some dial tone, and we'll call that number.
Good evening. Today is Thursday, August 1st. The time is 6:02. Current temperature 97 degrees. Partly cloudy tonight, lows in the upper 60s. Friday becoming mostly cloudy, 30% chance of a shower and a thunderstorm, high in the mid-80s.
Okay, we can call one other number. We can call my number, and it'll be busy. Give you some dial tone. So now that we know that this telephone has been repaired, we can return it to Patrick and he can start enjoying this telephone. It's just a really cool, very rare Kellogg telephone. It's had the dial added at some point, or it could have been added at the factory. Maybe they were taking some of the old boxes and adding them dials to them and sending them out to customers. So it's just hard to say how it got this way. There's not much information on these models, but you know, it's just a really cool telephone, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy this very much. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.